Hello everyone. Today we are going to partition a rectangle. Some of you might say, what does partition mean? Well, it means to divide something into parts. So I'm going to underline the word part to help us remember what partition means. It really means to divide. Okay, so in this first rectangle here in black, you can see I drew a rectangle and I divided it into squares or parts. And if we look here, I have it labeled that going across or horizontal is called a row. So this is a row in my rectangle, this is a row, and this is a row. Rows go side to side. Another important thing we need to know when we are partitioning rectangles is we need to know columns. Columns go vertically or up and down. So here's a column, and these lines or partitions divide all my columns. So here's one column, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 columns. So the lines that I drew are the partitions that divide it into rows and columns. So let's see how many rows we have. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 rows in this rectangle. Let's see how many columns we have. We're going to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 columns. Now they want to know how many total squares. Now, what's important about this is that if you notice, all my squares are the same size. If for this to be accurate, all of your parts have to be the same size square. Imagine this being a chocolate bar that you have to share with your class. And everybody has to get the same size part or piece or it won't be fair. Same thing when we're partitioning a rectangle, everything has to be the same size. All the squares have to be the same size. So how many total squares do we have here? Well, I'm just simply going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I have 18 total squares. All right, down here, I have another rectangle that I drew, but this time I didn't partition it yet. But I did say how many rows I want and how many columns I want. So I want this rectangle to have 2 rows. Now, it's a little confusing, but up here, if we go back to this one has 3 rows. I only had to draw 2 lines in order to get 3 rows. 2 lines divided my rectangle into 3 rows. So to get 2 rows, I only have to draw 1 line, and I'll get 2 pieces. Now I wanted, since I'm not using a ruler, I have to kind of use my head to decide how can I make this even. So pretend I'm dividing this up, a chocolate bar up for me and my friends. And I want to divide it into 2 rows or 2 pieces. They both have to be the same size. So I'm going to try to find the middle of my rectangle and start there. It's not going to be perfect because I don't have a ruler on me to do that. So as long as it's close, that works for me. Okay, so I drew a line right through the middle of my rectangle. And now you can see I have 2 rows. 1, 2. 2 rows going side to side. All right, I also want to have 3 columns. Remember, columns go up and down or vertical. So I have to draw vertical lines to make columns. Now, in order to get 3 columns, I'm going to have to draw how many lines? Well, to get 6 columns up here, I only had to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lines. So you always want to go 1 less than the number you want. So if I want 3 columns, I need 2 lines. So I'm going to, again, use my eyes and use my head to kind of figure out where I can do that. And if I'm doing it on paper for math, then usually I like to use a pencil because then if it's not even and I see that one piece is bigger than the other piece, I can erase it and kind of shift it to make sure all my squares are the same size. So I'm going to say about here and about here. It's not perfect because I don't have a ruler on me, but if it's about all the same size and everyone would be happy with their piece, if I was sharing it, then that means it's okay. Okay, let's just check and make sure that I have 3 columns going up and down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have 2 rows and 3 columns. The last thing we need to do is figure out how many total squares there are. So you can simply count them all. Sometimes people like to skip count. So since I see 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here, I can skip count by 2's. There's 2 in this column, so 2, 4, 6. 6 total squares.